awesome people. Thanks for having me again today. You're highly welcome to today's session on a very interesting topic, the book summary, lessons, and review of the book titled Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. I don't know, I believe you've all read the book Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Have you read the book? If you've read that book, please put in the chat box, I have. Just put in the chat box, I have read that book. And also tell us how you see the book and how well and how much the book has impacted in your life. Okay? So, good people, I believe you're ready to overcome procrastination and boost your productivity. You're welcome to today's powerful webinar on this topic, the book summary, lessons, and review of the book Eat That Frog. So today, Eat That Frog takes center stage in our webinar. And we are going to dive into the core of the book. We are going to look at the different aspects, and we are going to reveal strategies to tackle your biggest challenges first and discover how to boost efficiency and one frog at a time. You're going to discover how to boost efficiency one frog at a time. So this is your opportunity to learn practical steps, to stop putting off essential tasks, to be able to manage your time like a pro, and to achieve your goals faster. You're welcome again, you're welcome. Eat That Frog book summary. Now, before we proceed, let's get to our mantra, reminding us once again of our capabilities as an uncommon man. We are uncommon. So let's take this mantra together. The uncommon man mantra. Are you ready? All right, this is from the book titled Common Sense, written by Thomas Paine in 1776. So let's read it together. Awesome. I do not choose to be a common man. It's my right to be uncommon. If I can, I seek opportunity, not security. I do not wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the state look after me. I want to take the calculated risk, to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentive for a dole. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale calm of utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will never cower before any master, nor bend to any trade. It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to think and act for myself, to enjoy the benefits of my creations, and to face the world boldly and say, this with God's help I have done. Please, can we take this again? It's my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to think and act for myself, to enjoy the benefits of my creations, and to face the world boldly and say, this, with God's help, I have done. Please, can you give yourself a clap? Please give yourself a clap, give yourself a pat on the back. You are truly an uncommon man. You're truly an uncommon man. Now let's get back to our topic. All right. All right, awesome people. We are back again. Book summary, lessons, and review of the book Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. I want you all to take advantage of this opportunity, read this book, and you will see your productivity skyrocket. Now, let's have an overview of our topic today. We'll introduce the topic, then we'll talk about the author, Brian Tracy. We'll also look at the core concept of this book, about this book, Eating the Frog. Then we'll also look at key lessons, like key lessons 1, prioritization and task management. Key lessons 2, the power of goal setting. Key lesson 3, time management techniques. Key lesson 4, avoiding distractions, and then putting it all together. Okay, putting it all together. Okay, there will be session for question and answers. There will be opportunities for you to make your contributions, and like right now we are waiting for you in the chat box. We are waiting for you, for your comments, for your questions, your contributions. You're highly welcome. You're highly welcome. Now let's take this very powerful quote by Brian Tracy. He says, the more you discipline yourself, the easier life becomes. So true. Or some people, the more you discipline yourself, the easier life becomes, by Brian Tracy. And today we are going to learn how to get more disciplined, how to get the best of who we are, and how to make our life easier. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now let's quickly look at our topic today. Let's introduce our topic today. All right, I'm so happy to have you once again join us. And like we said earlier, whether you want to join us to boost your productivity or to stop procrastination or just learning something new, or some people, you're in the right place. Thank you, good people, for taking your time out to be here today. And we will be exploring the book Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And this is a powerful book, you know, all about facing your biggest challenges first, so that you can tackle the important tasks in your life, head on, and see real progress. By the end of this session, I hope that you walk away, with the practical steps and new ways of thinking that will help you take action, new ways of thinking that will help you to be more productive, that will help you to get closer to achieving your goals. Let's dive in, learn together, and take this first step towards overcoming procrastination. Now, please hold on. Before we get to a brief overview, I'll still talk a little more on introducing today's class. I believe you are good and set and ready. I believe you're good and set. Now, let's get to the next part. Brief overview of Eat That Frog. What's the main idea about the Eat That Frog? We look at the power of taking action, prioritizing. This is just a brief overview of what you get about this book. Okay? Now, the main idea, Eat That Frog. The title, Eat That Frog, is based on a simple but memorable idea. And what's this idea? If you start your day by eating a frog, which means your hardest or your most important task first, everything else will feel easier. And this approach will actually help you to tackle big tasks, without delay, and avoid procrastinations. Now, we look at the power of taking action. This book emphasizes that action is key. Okay, procrastination often holds us back, but when we start with our most challenging tasks, what happens? We create momentum, and then we start achieving more throughout the day. Now, Tracy argues that small, consistent actions leads to big results over time. Another key thing that we'll get in today's book is prioritizing tasks for maximum productivity. Prioritizing tasks for maximum productivity. Please hold on, we'll be with you shortly. Prioritizing tasks for maximum productivity. What do you mean by that? Brian Tracy introduces techniques for identifying tasks, which are most important. That is your frogs. Those tasks that are most important are what we are calling your frogs now. And he encourages focusing on high impact activities that makes a real difference, rather than just staying busy with smaller, less significant tasks. The other thing we learn here is using time management techniques. We are going to learn about using time management techniques effectively. And then also learning discipline and focus. Learning discipline and focus. Tracy highlights the importance of self-discipline and focus, in order to achieve our goals. And the book offers these strategies, to help one stay committed to our priorities, to avoid distractions, and to build habits that actually leads to long-term success. Another interesting thing is building confidence and reducing stress. Those are some very key lessons you will learn from this book, because by completing important tasks first, we build confidence, we lower stress, and experience a sense of accomplishment. And This not only makes us feel better about ourselves, but also frees us up to enjoy the rest of the day more. Okay, now what we've just itemized are the core ideas in the book Eat That Frog, and it's all aimed at helping us overcome procrastination and improve our productivity. And this will not only make, just like we said, each chapter of this book provides clear, and concise steps, real life examples, make it very easy to actually apply the lessons that are learned right away. Now let's get to the next slide. What do you expect to learn in today's class and from this book? Yeah, I have itemized them, 7 of them. Number one, you learn how to identify and prioritize your tasks. You learn how to tell which tasks are truly important and makes a real difference, in reaching your goals. And by knowing how to choose and focus on high impact tasks, what happens? You can avoid getting overwhelmed by smaller, less important tasks. Another one are simple techniques to stop procrastination. You're also going to learn about simple techniques that will help you stop procrastination. And then practical time management tips will also be itemized from these books. You discover tips for managing your time better, like setting clear goals, like organizing your tasks by priority and planning your day in a way that helps you stay productive. Then we'll also learn how to break down big tasks into manageable steps, and also ways to build self-discipline and focus. Why? Self-discipline is actually a key to staying on track. Okay, and we'll talk about ways to build this skill over time. You'll also learn how to create a focus friendly environment, that minimizes distractions and helping you to get more done in less time. Then we look at tips for reducing stress and increasing your motivation. And then we look at how to set up daily habits for long-term success. What do you mean by that? You learn how to develop daily habits, that support your productivity and help you achieve long-term success goals. And this habit will make it easier for you to stay consistent. Okay, even on tough days, so good people, by the end of this session you will have practical tips that you can use right away to start improving your productivity, and that is by tackling your toughest tasks first and overcoming procrastination. This is another interesting quote by Brian Tracy. He says, "Eat that frog" is a great way to explain that productivity is not about doing more things, but about doing the right things at the right time. Eat that frog is a great way to explain that productivity is not about doing more things, but doing the right things at the right time. That's a quote by Brent Tracy. Now, let's talk about Brent Tracy. Who is Brent Tracy? And why are we talking about Brent Tracy? Who is Brent Tracy? And why are we talking about Brent Tracy? And why are we interested in his book? What makes him special? Now, Brent Tracy is a Canadian-born author. He's a speaker and expert in personal and professional development. And throughout his career, he has written more than 70 books on topics like success, on goal setting, on productivity, on leadership, and self-discipline. And Brian Tracy's books are widely popular, and millions of people around the world follow his advice to improve their lives and careers. Now, another interesting thing about Brian Tracy is his success journey. Brian Tracy's journey to success wasn't easy. Why? Because he started with little and worked his way up. Okay, gaining experience in different fields like sales, business, and leadership. Okay, he was able to build himself up and working his way up, gaining experience in different fields like sales, business, and leadership. And along the way, he studied the habits. Okay, thanks. Along the way, he studied the habits and strategies of successful people and developed his own methods, for achieving goals and overcoming challenges. And this hands-on experience actually shaped the practical advice that he shares in his books. Now, Brian Tracy is also a highly sought-after speaker who has delivered thousands of talks and seminars. And through his speeches and coaching, he has helped people to gain confidence, people to take action and reach their goals. Now, there's something interesting about him. His speaking style is clear, inspiring, and easy to understand, making him a favorite amongst audiences worldwide. Now, his expertise in personal development and productivity. He's a leader in personal development. He's one of the top experts in the field of personal development, and his work focuses on helping people become the best versions of themselves by setting goals, building, building confidence, and taking control of their lives. He's also an expert in productivity and time management. He's also known for practical and actionable advice. I can tell you that one of the reasons that Brian Tracy is so popular is because his advice is simple, clear, and easy to apply. His techniques don't require any special skills or resources. Anyone can use them, to improve their productivity and reach their goals. And in Eat That Frog, for example, Tracy gives straightforward steps, for overcoming procrastination and staying focused. So readers and awesome people like you can start making changes right away. And Tracy is a trusted source for success strategies. That's very, very true. He's a trusted source for success strategies. Let's get to the next slide. Let's look at the core concept, eating the frog. The core concept about eating the frog. Let's explain the metaphor because it's actually a metaphor. The book is not telling you to go get a live frog. That means this concept is a metaphor, as in that word eat a frog is a metaphor. We are going to explain it, and we'll also look at why this approach can reduce procrastination and increase productivity. Now, that phrase eat that frog comes from a simple but very powerful idea that actually makes it easier to get things done. Now, imagine that you have a frog sitting in front of you. It's something big, it's something unpleasant or difficult to do, and most people would avoid it. Yes, most people would avoid it. But what if you had to eat that frog? It will be uncomfortable for some people and maybe a little gross. Yuck. But once it's done, you feel that sense of relief. you're going to feel that sense of relief that it's over. That means in this metaphor, the frog represents your most challenging or important task, and the one you're already, you're most likely to put off. There are these tasks that we are most likely to put off, our most challenging tasks. That's what we are referring to as the frog here. And the idea is that if you tackle the hardest, the most difficult task first thing in the morning, just like eating the frog, what happened? Everything else you do afterward will seem very easy in comparison. Now, why this approach? Why do we think this approach can reduce procrastination and increase productivity? Why do we think so? Number one is tackling the hardest tasks first eliminates avoidance habits. Tackling the hardest tasks first eliminates avoidance habit. Now, procrastination often happens when we put off tasks that seems difficult or overwhelming. And the longer we delay, the bigger and scarier the task seems in our mind. And when we choose to eat the frog and tackle the hardest tasks first, what happens? You break that habit of avoidance, okay? And once the hardest task is out of the way, good people, you realize that you no longer need to spend your day worrying about it. You already conquered the toughest challenge of the day, which gives you a sense of relief and confidence. Another important thing why this approach can work for us is that the approach reduces stress and anxiety. When we procrastinate, we tend to hang hang over our heads, creating stress and anxiety. And the longer we put them off, the more we feel the pressure building, we feel that pressure. And by addressing the most difficult tasks first, what happens? We prevent that stress from building up. And once that hard task is finished, good people, you will feel that sense of accomplishment, and you can move forward with the rest of your day more calmly. Also, you'll be able to build momentum for the rest of the day. Another interesting thing is that you enjoy improved focus and energy. You'll enjoy improved focus and energy. What do we mean by that? Is that our energy levels and focus are always highest when we start working in the day. And if we leave the most challenging tasks for later, what happens? We may not have that mental clarity or energy to do it well. And by tackling it first, by tackling it first, you're working at your most productive time. Okay, and this will help you to stay focused. This will help you to complete your tasks more efficiently. Other benefit why this approach is increases productivity is that it prevents the snowball effect. What do you mean by snowball effect? When you put off a difficult task, you often end up putting off more tasks throughout the day. That's very true. And this will create a snowball effect where more and more tasks get delayed, leading to stress, leading to frustration, and this will also lead to feelings of being overwhelmed. And when you start with the toughest tasks, you'll be able to avoid this snowball effect, and you create that habit of acting rather than avoiding, and you will feel more in control of your time and responsibilities. This book also helps with procrastination because it encourages you to focus on what's truly important rather than just staying busy with less important tasks. And it will also create a sense of accomplishment. It creates a sense of accomplishment. Let's get to the next slide. I love this quote by Brian Tracy. He says, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people develop the habit of doing things that others don't want to do. Let's take it again. An interesting quote by Brian Tracy. All right, we are back to our quote by Brian Tracy that says the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people develop the habit of doing things others don't want to do. Very true, very true. Now let's get to the next slide. Key lesson one: prioritization and task management. Prioritization and task management. We are going to look at the ABCDE method and then the benefits of prioritizing for achieving better focus and results. Now, one of the most important steps to boosting productivity and avoiding procrastination is learning how to procrastinate your tasks. And in Eat That Frog, Brian Tracy introduces the ABCDE method, and this method is to help you prioritize better. This method will help you organize your tasks based on their importance and urgency so that you can focus on what matters most. Now, here is how the ABCDE method works. A, tasks are tasks that are most important and must be done today. These are tasks that have serious consequences if not completed. They are your top priority. Now, B, tasks are important but not urgent. These tasks are things you should do, but they don't have to be done immediately. They still contribute to your goals and successes, so they should be completed, after the A tasks. They should be completed after the A tasks. Then your C tasks are tasks that are nice to do, but have little or no consequences. These tasks are not urgent or important, and you can do them if you have time, but they should not interfere with more important tasks. Those are your C tasks. And your D tasks are tasks that can be delegated. These are tasks that someone else can do. These are tasks you can outsource. These are tasks you can give people, others to do, especially if you have tasks that don't need your personal attention. Delegate them to others so that you can focus on more important responsibilities. And then E are tasks that can be eliminated. These are activities that are not necessary at all and will not contribute to your goals. If something isn't important or useful, eliminate it from your to-do list or some people. And by using this ABCDE method, you break down your tasks into categories that help you decide what to work on first, what to delegate, and what to ignore. That's why the ABCD method is very important. Like we said, it's a simple yet powerful, tool for organizing your tasks based on their importance and urgency. That means A tasks are the most important tasks that need to be done that day. B tasks are important but not urgent. C tasks are nice to do but not essential. D tasks are tasks that can be delegated. E tasks are tasks that can be eliminated. Thank you. Now let's look at the benefits of prioritization for achieving better focus and results. What are the benefits? Why does it why will prioritization help you better focus and get better results? One, it helps you focus on what matters most. Okay, prioritization will help you decide which of your tasks are most important, and when you know what needs to be done first, you can concentrate on those tasks without getting distracted by less important tasks, and this will make your effort more focused and productive. Another benefit is that it will improve your time management. With prioritization, you can allocate your time more effectively. You know which tasks to tackle first so that you can avoid wasting time on tasks that can wait or don't add value. Then reducing stress is another benefit. When you have a clear understanding of what you need to do and in what order, you're less likely to feel overwhelmed by your tasks. Then boosting of productivity. By focusing on the most important task, that is your A task, you ensure that you're making the most impact, with your time. You get more done in less time because you're prioritizing high value tasks instead of getting caught up in less important ones. And also promote better decision making. Now, prioritizing helps you to make better decisions about where to spend your time and energy. And when you have a clear list, you'll be able to make better decisions. Another benefit is that it increases your motivation and momentum. Completing a task, the 8 tasks, which are the most important one, early in the day, it gives you that sense of accomplishment, and this creates momentum, which makes it easier for you to keep going, with other tasks. It also boosts your motivation because you can use the progress you're making. You can see the progress you're making. Then another interesting benefit of prioritization is that it helps you achieve your long-term goal. It helps you achieve your long-term goal. That means the ABCDE method helps you prioritize tasks by importance so that you can stay focused on the most crucial ones and avoid wasting time on less important activities. And by prioritizing, you will improve your time management, you reduce stress, you boost productivity, and you're going to achieve better results in both your personal and professional life. Now let's get to the next slide. I love this quote by Theophrastus. Theophrastus said, "Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend." Time is the most valuable thing a man can spend. I believe we all have the same 24 hours in a day. The better you manage your time, the better your result, the better you accomplish. You to Theophrastus for this timely and interesting quote that time is the most valuable thing a man can spend. Now let's look at key lesson 2, the power of goal setting. The power of goal setting. We are going to look at the importance of setting clear goals, overview of how goals direct and motivate our actions. Then we are going to look at Tracy's goal setting framework. We are going to look at Tracy's goal setting framework. All right. Now let's look at importance of setting clear goals. Number one, it provides directions. Goals give you that clear sense of direction. Without goals, it's easy to feel lost or feel unsure about what you should focus on. Having clear goals will always help you stay on track and know exactly where you're headed. Then another importance is improved focus. When you set goals, you can focus on what's important, you can avoid distractions, you'll be able to delegate your time and energy appropriately. Another importance is that it increases motivation. Clear goals motivate you to take action. They serve as a reminder of what you're working towards, and which always encourages you to keep pushing forward even when challenges arise. And then other importance is that goals will help you to measure progress and also help to enhance your achievement. Now let's quickly look at overview of how goals direct and motivate our actions. Number one is that they provide a clear path. Goals give you a roadmap of where you want to go. Whether it's a big life goal or a small task, having a goal tells you what to work on and how to prioritize your time. It also helps to focus your energy, because with clear goals, you know what's most important, and this will help you to prioritize your most important tasks, and you can help you also to ignore distractions or tasks that don't contribute to your success. Another overview of how goals direct and motivate our action is that it creates motivation, it builds momentum, and it also increases accountability. It also increases accountability. Let's briefly look at Brian Tracy's goal setting framework. Please jot this down. Very important. Jot this down. Jot this down. Number one, write your goals down. Number one, write your goals down. Number two, be specific. Number two, be specific. Number three, make your goals measurable. Make your goals measurable. Number four, set deadlines. That's the goal setting framework by Brian Tracy. What do you mean by that? Brian Tracy emphasizes the importance of writing your goals down. These simple steps, you know, makes them more real and tangible, and by putting your goals on paper, you are committing to achieving them. Then be specific. Instead of vague goals, Tracy recommends being clear and specific. For example, instead of saying I want to get fit, you can say I will exercise for 30 minutes every morning. And the more specific your goals are, the easier it will be to take action. Then make your goals measurable. Make your goals measurable, because Tracy's framework stresses the importance of tracking your progress, and your goals should have that measurable result. For example, if your goal is to save money, you should have a target amount, like I would like to save 10,000 naira in the next 3 months. It talked about breaking your goals into smaller tasks. Large goals can actually seem overwhelming, and Tracy suggests breaking them down into smaller, manageable tasks, and this makes it easier to take action and see progress along the way. And then set deadline. Set deadline. Deadline creates that urgency and help you to stay focused. And Tracy encourages you to set a clear timeline for each of your goals, which help you to stay on track and avoid procrastination. Let's get to our next slide. I love this. This is an interesting quote by Zig Ziglar. A goal properly set is halfway reached. A goal properly set is halfway reached by Zig Ziglar. Now let's look at key lesson 3. We are going to look at the 80-20 principle, And also we'll discuss block scheduling and setting aside time for focused work. The 80-20 principle and block scheduling and setting aside time for focused work. Now we are back to explain, to discuss on the 80-20 principle. Now, what's the 80-20 principle? It's also known as the Pareto principle, and it's simple but powerful, very powerful concept that helps you to prioritize your time and energy. And this principle states that 80% of your result comes from just 20% of your effort. And in other words, a small portion of your work will lead to majority of your success. How does it work? Number one is to identify the 20% of tasks that are most important and will give you the greatest result. And these tasks are the ones that have the highest impact on your goals, your career, or your productivity. And they should be the things that brings the most value or help you move forward towards your goal. For example, let's look at an example. If you're working on a business project, okay, and maybe 20% of the tax will be responsible for 80% of the result, this should be the tax, that you should focus on. It could be tasks like creating a business plan, reaching out to potential clients, or launching a marketing campaign. And in your personal life, maybe 20% of your daily activities like exercising, planning, and setting goals can give you the most satisfied experiences and success. While the other 80, like checking your social media or doing small errands, do not contribute as much to your overall well-being. Another thing about the Pareto principle is that it helps you to minimize low impact tasks. Next is to minimize low impact tasks and then focus on what matters most. Focus on what matters most. Now, this Pareto principle, this 80-20 principle can be applied to different areas of our lives. It can be applied to different areas of our life. How? It can be applied to not just to our work, but to other areas of our life, such as, for example, at work now, focus on the 20% of tasks that lead to the biggest result, like completing major projects, meeting with important clients, or improving key skills. Then in relationships, spend time nurturing the relationship that matters most, like your close family and friends, instead of spreading yourself too thin with acquaintances. Then in health, in relation to your health, prioritize the 20% of activities that lead to better health, like exercise, eating well, and getting enough sleep, while reducing less productive habits. How do we use this 80-20 principle? Number one, identify the key tasks that brings the most value and prioritize them. Number two, delegate or eliminate tasks that take a lot of time but don't produce much in return. And number three, regularly assess your activities just to ensure that you're focusing on tasks that really matter. Now let's look at block scheduling. What do you mean by block scheduling? and also setting aside time for focused work. Block scheduling is a time management technique, okay, that helps you organize your day into specific chunks of time, okay, or blocks dedicated to one task or activity. And the idea is to set aside time for focused work, for to minimize distraction, and to create a clear structure for your day. And this method can significantly improve your productivity, it can reduce stress, it can help you get more done. Now, what is block scheduling? Block scheduling means dividing your day into blocks of time, and where each block is reserved for a particular task or group of related tasks. Now, instead of switching between tasks throughout the day or multitasking, you can focus on one activity at a time during its assigned block. Let's look at some examples. So examples are, for one, you can say 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. work on a major project. Okay, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. answer emails and check messages. 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. attend meetings or calls. 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. work on creative tasks like brainstorming or writing. You can see that we are assigning specific times or blocks, scheduling to help us stay focused and productive. Now, what are the benefits of block scheduling? Number one, it improved focus. Number two, it reduces distractions. Number three, it helps to create structures. And number four, it helps to prevent you being overwhelmed. It prevents you getting overwhelmed, instead of feeling like you have to do everything at once. Block scheduling breaks your tasks into manageable chunks, and this makes large projects to feel less overwhelming and more achievable. It also increases productivity and varied help, and this is because you're using your time more efficiently, you're using your time more effectively, and you're not wasting time switching between different activities. Now, you should be able to create a block schedule. How do you create a block schedule? Identify your key tasks. One, set time block. Two, group similar tasks. Three, prioritize important tasks. Four, and be flexible. Let's quickly look at tips for effective block scheduling. Number one is that you can use a planner or a digital calendar. Use a planner or use a digital calendar. Also, two, limit multitasking. Three, schedule breaks in between. Should take short breaks in between. Four, set boundaries. And five, review and adjust. Set time for focused work. It's very, very interesting. Now, let's get to the next slide. I love this section, avoiding distractions. We are going to look at common distractions and how to minimize them. We look at the importance of a distraction-free environment for staying productive, and then tips for managing interruption. Now, distractions are one of the biggest barriers to productivity, and they can derail your focus, can make your tasks take longer, and can cause unnecessary stress. Now, let's look at some most common distractions and ways to eliminate or avoid them. Number one, digital distractions, such as phone notifications. Constant notification from emails, social medias, and apps can break your focus and make it easier for you to stay on task. How do you minimize it? Turn off non-essential notifications, okay? Put your phone on do not disturb mode during work session. Use apps that block distracting websites while you work. Such apps are this one that's called Focus at Will and or Freedom app, okay? Another one is social media. Spending time on platforms like like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, WhatsApp can easily waste hours and break your flow. So how do you minimize distractions on your social media? Use website blockers or time management. We have time management apps like Stay Focused, like Rescue Time. These apps will help to limit your social media use during work hours. And then schedule specific time for checking social media, such as lunch or after work, so that it doesn't interfere with your tasks. Then let's look at another distraction that we experience often, that is email interruptions. Constantly checking your emails can pull you away from important work and disrupt your concentration. So how do you do that? Set specific times to check your email, like once in the morning, once in the afternoon, possibly once in the evening. Use email filters to prioritize important messages and sort out less urgent tasks, and consider turning off email notifications while you're working on high priority tasks. Now let's look at colleagues and family interruptions. Colleagues and family interruptions. Now, people might interrupt your work with questions, with casual conversations, with requests. How do you minimize these distractions? Number one, let your colleagues or family know, they should know that when you need to focus your time, your work time, they shouldn't be disturbed. Two, create clear boundaries about when you are available for conversations or help. And if you work in an office, consider using headphones, okay, or do not disturb sign on your table to signal that you're in a focused work session. Now, how about physical distractions? No, physical distractions could be cluttered workspace, background music, or noisy environment. How do you minimize that? Keep your workspace organized and free of clutter to reduce that visual distractions. Use noise cancellation headphones, very important, if you're in a noisy area. Consider using background music or white noise to drown out distractions if it can help you concentrate. So why is it important? Why do we need a distraction-free environment? Why is a distraction-free environment very important? Number one is that it helps to boost your focus. Number two, it reduces stress. Number three, it improves your quality of work. And number four, it increases your efficiency. Let's quickly look at tips for managing interruptions. Number one thing you should realize is that interruptions are inevitable, but you can manage them better with these few strategies that we are going to look at. Number one is set clear boundaries. Set clear boundaries. Two, batch your tasks, group similar tasks together and do them in one focused time block, okay? For example, you can schedule a block of time for answering emails or making calls and set aside other blocks for deep work, and this can help you minimize interruptions while you're in a productive flow. Then number three, use time blocks for breaks too. Also schedule breaks throughout your day to handle any personal matters or urgent requests. Practice the 2 minute rule. Practice the 2 minute rule. Use technology to help. You can use the Pomodoro technique, use some apps that are helpful. That's quite interesting. Now let's get to the next slide. right. This is an interesting quote by Tony Robbins that says, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. This is a quote by Tony Robbins. Now let's get to the next slide. Now let's put it all together. Let's summarize. Let's apply our strategies in everyday life. How do we apply the strategies in our everyday life? Let's quickly look at it together. How we can, maximize this in our everyday life. I believe we've been having value. Please put it in the chat box. Value. If you're having value, please put in the chat box value. All right. We want to look at a summary of our key lessons today. A summary of our key lessons today. And take breaks to refresh your mind. You should learn to say no. You should be able to minimize even self-interruptions. You should be able to minimize self, be flexible and adjust when necessary. Now, in putting it all together, a summary of the key tasks. Number one, tackle the hardest task first. That is, eat that frog. Eat that frog. Then prioritize with the ABCDE method. Prioritize with the ABCDE method. And then another key lesson for today is set clear goals. Set clear goals. Then also we learned that you should be able to use time management techniques, this 80-20 principle and block scheduling to build. We also learned today from the book how to minimize distractions and create a productive environment. And also you should learn to manage interruption. We have learned all of that in details. I want to encourage everyone, take action now. Please put in the chat box, I am taking action now. Take action now. Take action now. Number two, I want to encourage you to start with one key change. Start with one key change. Number three, I will encourage you to be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself is very, very important, because building new habits takes time. Okay, so be patient as you integrate these strategies into your routine. It's okay, awesome people, to face setbacks, along the way, but the important thing is to keep going and to adjust when needed. Then keep track of your progress. I encourage you to keep track of your progress, but remember, consistency is key. Consistency is key. It's not about being perfect, but being consistent. By sticking to these strategies, you gradually see improvement in your productivity and effectiveness. And over time, these strategies will become second nature. Yes, they will become second nature over time, and this will help you to make the most of your time every day. Stay committed to growth. Stay committed to growth. So through this book, you have everything you need to start managing your time more effectively, to overcome procrastination, and to boost your productivity. Now, it's up to you to take that first step. Good people, it's up to you. Take that first step. Start applying these strategies today. Watch how they help you achieve more and make your work feel more fulfilling and less overwhelming. I believe you've had great fun, because the goal of today's webinar was and is to empower you with practical tools and strategies to improve your productivity and reduce procrastination. And by taking the the principles we've shared here and applying them consistently, you see positive changes in how you manage your tasks, in how you manage your time, in how you set goals, and it's time to take hold, to take charge of your workday and make the most of every opportunity. Thank you. I believe we've really learned a lot. Please put in the chat box, I have learned a lot. Have learned a lot. Please take your time, reflect on the key lessons. Okay? Reflect on the key lessons and do this. Now, this is an assignment for everyone. Number one is, what if I don't have a frog to eat? How do I apply this strategy? What if I don't have a frog to eat? How do I apply this strategy? Number two, how do I stay consistent with the ABCD method when things keep changing in my day? Another question is, I feel overwhelmed. I often feel overwhelmed with long to-do lists. How can I avoid feeling stuck? Please put your response in the chat box. Put your answers in the chat box. Put your answers in the chat box. Have you put your answers? I'm watching out in the chat box for your answers. But for now, I'll just answer question 1 and question 2. I'll leave question 3 for you to answer. Now, if you don't have one huge task standing out, try looking at your day, and identifying the tasks that are most challenging or require the most effort. It could be something you've been avoiding or something that, once completed, will make the rest of your day tasks easier. That the key is, start with the most difficult or the most uncomfortable task first. Whether it's a report, is a tough conversation, or is a big project, if nothing feels like a frog, choose a task that feels daunting and go after it. Okay? How do I stay consistent with the ABCD method when things keep changing in my day? Now, the ABCD method is about flexibility. It's about re-evaluating your priorities throughout the day. And while your tasks may change, this method helps you to adjust by constantly asking yourself, which task is the most important right now? And if things change, simply review and reorganize your tasks. And this method isn't just about sticking rigidly to a list. It's about keeping focused on your most important tasks. Stay flexible, but prioritize wisely. Stay flexible, but prioritize wisely. And we are ending with this quote by Bruce Lee that says, the successful warrior is an average man with laser-like focus. The successful warrior is an average man with laser-like focus. This is a quote by Bruce Lee. Thank you, awesome people. You're highly appreciated. I believe we had value today and you've learned a lot. You're highly appreciated. Thank you, thank you, thank you, awesome people. You can always reach me via my email at enobomekarika1@gmail.com, or via, you can get to know a bit about me on about.me/enobomekarika. Thank you, and do have a blessed day.